Hi, it's Molly again. I hope to build on your knowledge of neuroscience and relationships today. But before we start, I want to remind you that this is for educational purposes only, and it's not a substitute for professional counseling or therapy. Today we'll talk about attunement. Attunement is more than paying attention or being present. It's about how you're present and how you communicate that presence to the other person. Attunement has 4 core principles. The first is awareness. Awareness entails picking up on subtle verbal cues, shifts in energy or body language, before your partner even has a chance to say a word. It's noticing those subtle clues and letting the other person know that you noticed. The second principle is listening without fixing. This means remaining present with your partner's feelings rather than immediately jumping into problem-solving mode. It means not getting defensive. It's the difference between saying, "I'm here and it makes sense for you to feel this way," and "you shouldn't let that bother you." Can you tell the difference? Number 3 is validating differences. You don't have to experience the situation exactly the same way to validate your partner's emotional reality. It's about being open to their unique perspective. I know people often resist validation because they're afraid the other person will interpret this as agreement. There's a fear that validation will encourage them to be emotional or be more emotional. Believe it or not, the opposite actually happens. When someone feels heard, they rarely feel the need to escalate to get you to hear them. Have you ever seen Inside Out? There's a scene where Sadness points out Bing Bong's sadness. He then wipes his tears away, and he moves on. There's a lesson in that. And finally, there's responding with empathy. This is empathy in action. It translates your understanding into a supportive, caring gesture that calms the other person's nervous system. It might be verbal, it might be nonverbal, but the other person knows that you're there and that you care. Being attuned sounds simple, but it is not easy, especially if you were trained differently or if you never received this kind of communication from another person. However, if you've ever experienced someone being completely attuned to you, I'm sure it felt good. It might have felt strange, though. There's this famous experiment in psychology. It shows attunement in action. It's called the still face experiment. This is a mother and a baby, but the same principle applies to adult relationships. A person might start out responding in a way that's helpful, but if they don't feel accepted, if they don't feel validated, if they don't feel tuned to, they'll likely erode emotionally. And if this keeps happening over and over, the relationship is put at risk. However, if you learn how to be attuned with your partner and practice this regularly, you and your partner will hopefully feel closer and happier. I hope watching this and watching the video on the still face experiments helps you understand what I mean. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're able to put attunement into action. Have a great week.